И пускай с балкона вторая, он за примерно 5 секунд телепортируется в рандомное место на карте. Третья, он выбирает, как его кон будет бежать. Поиск пути бежит по своей какой-то траектории. Кусок, когда он бежит исключительно прямо. А мышкой, когда нажимаем на какую-то область, и он туда побежит. Третий режим кона я не помню. Третий режим я не помню. Великолепно. Что такое Меденстоун? Забавный ремикс. Но мне нравится, как бы, что в этой игре есть музыка. Некоторые это... Я просто за последнее время замечала за какими-то играми в Roblox, что в них вообще нет никакого саундтрека, вообще звуков нет. Это просто пипец. Я когда в такие игры играл, я просто охеревала. Как можно сделать игру и никакую музыку туда не добавить, звуков не добавить? Вот раньше была популярная игра Hide and Seek, как она называлась? Ну, короче, прятки, я не помню, как она точно называлась, но там, короче, на больших каких-то картах, да, прятки от эти были, там вообще не было никаких звуков, ни музыки. Мне эта игра этим вообще не нравилась. Типа для меня вот звуковое сопровождение в играх, фильмах, я не знаю, это очень важно. Я не понимаю, как без музыки можно игру делать. Майлстоун — это скины, которые даются на персонажа за каждые 25 всего написано. А, Майлстоун это называется в оригинале. Типа, как это на русском-то сказать, Майлстоун. А все, тупо научок, все, он не пройдет никогда эту загадку. Ой, прошел. Если что, все игры прохожу без звука. Ты проходишь их без звука, чтобы не мешать всем, типа в квартире, или это обусловлено реально тем, что ты не хочешь звук слышать в играх? Ну, типа, я в какие-то игры играла без звука, например, вот в Stellaris, там стратегия, которая очень медленная, не знаю. Ну, относительно. Типа, я просто в ней звук реально выключаю, я оставила на фон, там, не знаю, какие-нибудь лекции, например. Исторические лекции, там, я не знаю. Ну, какие-то игры по типу, ну, с историей какой-то там, не знаю, глубокой. Я не понимаю, как можно без звука жить. На русском игре называется как этап 1 до... Ну, наверное, этап, да, в этом контексте. Майлстоун это просто некое... Ну, наверное, это обычно переводится как цель. Да, то есть у нас есть некоторые... Ну, я даже не знаю, как правильно это передать на русском Майлстоун. Но этап это самый хороший, да. То есть есть некоторая цель, и вот по пути к этой цели есть некоторые milestones. То есть некоторые точки, как бы, да, которые знаменательны, которые, как бы, мы отмечаем. Вот это вот milestone называется. Ну, этап, да, на русском. Самое удачное слово. Мне мои проводные наушники сломались, я всегда под игрой включаю музыку. Ну, окей, как бы. Но это от игры зависит, опять же, да. Ну, типа, ну, не знаю. Ну, как минимум, хотелось бы, чтобы в игре была такая опция, чтобы там можно было звуки включить и послушать игру. Было бы неплохо. Forsaken. Healing, healing, healing. Это вот это 71711N007. Судя по тому, что там кона какого-то выпустил. Нет. О, за маньяка пошел играть. Что он сказал? Footprints. Ну это Dead by Daylight, короче, реально. А он их может на курки какие-то ссылать? Или он их типа добить надо до конца всех выживших? Ага, вот он, что он делал? Он просто убил его нахуй. Ага, ну то есть он тупо убивается. Day by Daylight просто там как бы меня когда ловят кого-то, он его на крюк сажает, и он там висит на трусах. И другие выжившие могут его спасти. 1 час за спектра по геймплей ДБД на апдейт. Я в Roblox сыграл месяца 3 назад или 2. Ну я полноценно, прям так, чтобы заинтересованно в Roblox играл, наверное, год назад. Я искал какие-то разные интересные проекты в Roblox, но мне как-то не зашло. Ну, я сделал это на стриме, как бы в Roblox действительно есть какие-то игры интересные, которые вот реально мне даже интересно порой там посмотреть. Но если я стримлю Roblox, прям в категории Roblox, то обычно приходят реально как бы роблоксеры и говорят, ну, поиграй, пожалуйста, как бы, я не знаю, в Battlegrounds какой-нибудь, поиграй в Forsaken, поиграй там еще во что-нибудь. Они рекомендуют мне игры, которые мне нахуй не интересны, я не знаю. И аудитория как бы Roblox это люди, ну, которым лет 8 где-то, наверное, я не знаю. Нет, типа тоже не сильно. Ну, не о чем особо как бы поговорить с этими людьми, наверное. Вот он. Он самый... Roblox Forsaken. Before the rework and the rework. Rework and the rework. То есть его 2 раза переделали. 007 геймплей. Кто это такой вообще? Ну типа, у него есть какая-то история у этого человека? Он откуда-то взят? Как вот эти, ну, 1x1, x1. Я сейчас только из игр со Steam играю, но просто мне кажется, Steam немного интереснее играть, чем Roblox, если можно хотя бы найти игру на свой вкус, и ноутбук, или на ПК. Ага. Ну, Roblox мне в свое время очень нравился за комьюнити, мне очень нравился он за игры, в принципе, свои. Ну, вот в 2014 году, когда начинал играть, мне интересен был Roblox, особенно тем, что там очень много было... ну, там большинство людей были англоговорящие, там невозможно было почти найти там русскоязычных кого-то, я не знаю. Мне реально как-то... Ну, прикольно с ними было, я не знаю, взаимодействовать. Я благодаря Roblox, наверное, неплохо потянула себя английский в целом. Как бы, да, с кем-то я там общалась так относительно, но я не знаю. группу по Роблоксу создала как бы абсолютно рандомно, да, когда Builders Club. У меня заканчивался Builders Club, который сейчас называется премиум. Он позволял создавать группы в Роблоксе. Я посоздал просто групп, как бы вот одна группа я создала, Россия называется, а потом туда просто десятки тысяч людей вступили. Видимо, просто вбиваю в поиск Роблокса Россия. Вот как бы из этого у меня сообщество какое-то выросло тоже. И мне интересно было с ним взаимодействовать, для него что-то делать, какие-то мероприятия устраивать. Что-то строить вместе в Роблоксе. Ну, то есть, реально, Roblox сыграл большую роль, наверное, в моей социализации в детстве. То есть, я завела много знакомств, я английский себе натренировал. Да. Ивенты в Роблоксе всегда проходили, да. Egg Hunt, там вот этот вот на Hello Eve, ну, на Хэллоуин какой-то ивент проходил, на Рождество какие-то ивенты. Постоянно были какие-то ивенты, все люди собирались на эти ивенты, вместе что-то делали, как бы вот это чувство комьюнити тоже. Принадлежности к чему-то большему, как бы вот, ну, реально вот, допустим, Экхан, как бы вот реально все сообщество собиралось вместе, все вместе искали яйца, друг друга помогали, это было тоже очень интересно в свое время. А сейчас, я не знаю, сейчас Roblox, он будто бы обезличился. Ну, то есть в Роблоксе очень много всего. Roblox это очень огромная платформа. И у Роблокса современного будто бы нет идентики какой-то своей. То есть, я не знаю, ну это будто бы... Я не знаю, с чем сравнить Roblox. Ну, у него размылась как-то вот эта идентичность своя собственная, будто бы. И нету такого ощущения цельного комьюнити прям игроков Roblox, что ли, я не знаю. То есть каждый сам по себе. Какие-то микрогруппы существуют, там, я не знаю, ну, допустим, он любители Forsaken, как бы, да, вот, ну, пусть они играют Forsaken, там, не знаю, какие-нибудь, там, я не знаю, кстати, военные какие-то группы сейчас активны в Роблоксе. Вот я помню, раньше в Роблоксе очень активны были тоже ролевые какие-то игры, ну, типа, вот, военные разные там группы были, по типу Fear, First Account, Assault Recon, вроде это расшифровался, да. Были еще места, которые были чисто для членов Builders Club подписки. Но их можно сравнить, в принципе, с тем, что сейчас в Роблоксе есть для... Ну, там, с пометкой 17+, да. То есть там просто собирались люди, ну, постарше в основном, как бы, и как-то забавно просто общались, я не знаю. Ну, просто как-то, ну, я не знаю, просто общение там было интересно. Ну, я не заходила, конечно, в игры 17+, в Роблоксе сейчас, я не знаю, что там происходит, но мне кажется, что-то подобное. Возможно, менее, как бы... Ну, я просто не знаю, ну, ладно, не буду говорить на эту тему. Не буду предполагать, что можно найти в плейсе Roblox 17+, как бы в наши дни. Он хакер вообще, а он взломщик. 0077 Forsaken основан на создателе печально известной хакерской группы Roblox Team Cool Kid. Она такую знаю, да, была такая. Это которая в Roblox какое-то лицо забавное залили. Он создал CoolKit как альтернативный аккаунт и в 2014 году разработал CoolGI, который использовался для взлома некоторых из самых популярных игр Roblox в то время, таких как Work at Pizza Place. Ну да, я помню, Work at Pizza Place постоянно взламывали, Work at Pizza... Ну вообще все игры взламывали раньше в Роблоксе, потому что раньше в Роблоксе абсолютно все действия, как бы, ну, я не знаю, не было разделения между сервером и клиентом, да, то есть ты со своего клиента Roblox мог полноценно влиять вообще на все в игре. Ну, так, простыми словами, пытаясь объяснить, да, то есть все, если у тебя есть какая-то специальная программа, ты можешь любой скрипт абсолютно запустить, это у всех будет. Потом они, когда ввели вот это вот filter enable, как бы разделили вот эту серверную, клиентскую составляющую, уже вот это, ну, сложнее, короче, стало провернуть. Нужно, приходится сейчас искать какие-то уязвимости. Раньше я в Roblox играл много, потому что режим были интереснее, не было долбучих школьников с часов 100+, которым отец, о которых... Режимы были интереснее, их больше нет, этих режимов. Я могу сказать за себя, что мне нравится Twisted Plastic, Twisted Karting, Murder Mystery первый. Ну, это все режимы, да, которых не существует больше в Roblox, потому что не сломались после вот этого Filtering Enabling обновления, между прочим. Что-то я хотел сказать еще. Я даже взламывал игру в Roblox тупо чит-инжином. То есть, ну, я просто баллы себе там накрутил. В игре 2 миллиарда баллов накрутил. Просто захотелось. Ну, я маленькая была, мне делать нечего было. Я просто открыл чит-инжин, как бы нашел это значение, поменяло все, как бы, вот, пожалуйста. То есть там вообще никакие, ну, я не знаю, может быть, конечно, для современного мира чит-инжин это что-то сверхъестественное вообще, я не знаю, может быть, никто о нем не слышал. Раньше чит-инжин это популярная была, по крайней мере, программа. С помощью нее можно было любые игры взламывать, ну, в основном офлайн какие-то игры, да. Потому что онлайн-игры, они обычно защищены от таких взломов, но вот Roblox он не был защищен вообще никак. То есть, ну, он как работает, чит-инжин? Ты находишь значение какое-то, да, то есть у тебя, например, сейчас 50 денег, ты вводишь там в поиск 50, первый поиск проводишь, хорошо, он нашел там 200 значений, например, потом у тебя поменялось значение денег, у тебя стало, не знаю, 72 деньги, например. Ты потом 72 вводишь и нажимаешь продолжить поиск. Вот так вот, короче, методом отсеивания ты находишь значение, которое отвечает именно за деньги, как бы в игре. Просто его меняешь в программе, и все, у тебя меняется оно как бы в игре. То есть он вот так вот достаточно просто работает. А еще я помню, Art Money была программа. Ну, Art Money, он попримитивнее, по-моему, чем Cheat Engine. Я, по-моему, спор через Atmani взламываю. Я давно не слышал ничего про Atmani или про Cheat Engine, что странно. Возможно, потому что они сильно интересуют взломами игр в последнее время. Мне нравилось играть в Phantom Force, если игра похожа на War Thunder. Phantom Forces я играла, потому что у меня был Battlefield 4. Как бы, ну вот Phantom Forces я все равно играла. Ну, я не знаю, возможно, мне нравилось Phantom Forces то, что там уровень игроков значительно ниже, чем, ну, вот Battlefield, например, как бы, и Phantom Forces, как бы я после Battlefield, например, заходя, я могла просто всех там разносить, этих детишек, которые решили там в первый раз в шутер зайти. Наверное, меня это привлекало. Сейчас я не знаю, конечно, какой там уровень игроков, я давно не играл в Phantom Forces. Но мне много игр нравилось. Я не знаю, мне в избранных они сохраняются, эти игры. Как бы. Всем пока, я спать с плюшевым Кукидом. Я думал, Куколдом. Ну, сладких снов тебе, черный кот. Сладких снов. И спайся, главное, чтоб тебе сны снились. Добрые, привлекательные, обалденные. Hello, baby Stewart, how you doing? What's up? Где тут эти места это красивое, интересное. You don't have any items. В смысле? Где можно посмотреть избранные места? О, бля, мне диплокинг куплен, ёбаный пиздец. Это, короче, пейсы, за которые я заплатила деньги, как бы, чтобы в них играть. Но не деньги, как бы, а рубаксы. Welcome to Venice. Это самый первый был пейс, куда я доступ купила. Это было, ну, наверное, когда это было? А, ну вот написано. 21 сентября 2014 года я вот эту ачивку получила. В 2014 году я купила доступ сюда. Проблема в том, что там особо, как бы... Нихуя не было. I forgot to change my name is Dutchfire. Dutchfire file. Oh, hello Dutchfire. Hello, hello. Yeah, I remember you, of course. Haven't recognized you at first with your new nickname. So how are you doing? Do you have something new? As for me, I'm trying to start my own business. I decided that I can design and produce some stuff on my 3D printer and sell it online on the marketplace. I'm now waiting for a big lot of boxes to come to me. I ordered 300 boxes to my house to package the goods. Чего рассказываешь? Не хочешь, чтобы я уходил? Не уходи. Чего рассказываешь? Ага. I'm good. I started tutoring for Russian. I had no luck trying to learn by myself. Got my first lesson in about an hour. Oh. So you haven't had a Russian lesson yet. You will have it in 1 hour. Okay. I wish you good luck in learning Russian. I think Russian is a good language to learn because there's a lot of at first there's a lot of information in Russian. There's a lot of Russian speakers everywhere. On the internet you can find a lot of useful information on Russian language because Russian is spoken mostly everywhere in post-Soviet states. It is also somewhere spoken in like post-socialist bloc, yeah, and a lot of migrants from post-Soviet space in Western countries. Yeah, I think it's useful. I wish I knew Spanish. I think Spanish is also useful. I just know just some basic words and I can't make any sentences in Spanish. Sadly. But yeah, I think Russian is also great. I found myself that it is sometimes you can find information on Russian that you can find on English, for example. Mostly mostly you can find information on English, but on some specific topics there's only information on Russian language. And yes, I said a lot of people actually speak Russian from a lot of different countries. What's your motivation to learn Russian? Он еще допустил ошибку свою, пока он написал пока через Акару. Пока. Пока. Всем пока. Usually I speak English more fluently, but I think it's just a little bit hard to switch from Russian into English, then from English into Russian. You have to, you know, change your mind a little. It's just I have a friend in real life who is Chinese, but we communicate in English, and I usually don't have any problems expressing my mind to him. But when I'm speaking Russian, then I have to switch to English. It's a little bit difficult, and vice versa. I just have a deep interest in the history of Russian, but sometimes it's hard to find information that's translated. Oh, I see. I see, yeah. Once again, yeah, some information you can only find in Russian. Some information you can find only in some rare languages that no one knows. But in Russian there's a lot of information that's exclusive. Let's see. I'm personally interested in Hungarian language and Hungarian history. Well, I don't know why. I just like Hungarian culture. I like that Hungarian language is really different to other languages. Like saying I love you in Hungarian is one single word. I don't remember that exactly. I think it's Sertlek. Like they describe that this verb is derived from yourself and that is directed to other person by these additions to the word. Like the part before the word and the part after the word. It is just interesting, and I like the sound of Hungarian, but I don't know if I really want to learn Hungarian, like, and to be fluent in Hungarian, because I don't know how useful it would be. But I think it may be useful a little, because Hungarians, they don't know English well. Yeah, I think maybe 50% or 40% of Hungarians can speak English a little. They're really somewhat isolated, and probably there's also a lot of exclusive content on Hungarian only, let's say. It also just sounds cool. Yeah. I was also interested in Hungarian history. I wrote my bachelor's degree work on Hungarian revanchism. Yeah. О, здравствуйте, Галя, здравствуйте, Галя. Добрый день. Добрый денёк. But remember to always have practice while learning new language, because I know, as for me, I think I learned to speak English somewhat fluently because of Roblox, because when I started playing Roblox in 2014, there was only like English speakers on Roblox mostly, and I had to communicate with them in English, and I think it really helped me. So I don't know, just find some I don't know, channel in Russian, for example, like, I don't know, a YouTube channel in Russian, maybe some books, I don't know, whatever you're interested in, to practice it. Because I have studied Chinese at my university for 4 years. We were planning to go to China to practice language in China, but because of COVID, we couldn't. And therefore I had no practice for Chinese language, and I don't know shit in Chinese. Like, I can speak some basic words like 你好, 我在我大学学习汉语, 中国共产党万岁, 中国伟大的人民万岁. And just a few words, just a few sentences. Like I can describe something to a Chinese person in Chinese if I want something, but my skill is not really fluent in Chinese. I know when you don't maintain it, you forget a lot. I used to know German, but now I don't know fragments. German. German is also a cool language. I like German. Yeah, and I also know. I don't know German grammar. I just can recognize some German words because I used to listen to some German folk music. I know I liked Heino, for example, is a folk singer for German music. Yeah, and I actually learned a lot of words from different languages by listening to music. Like, for example, I love Ukrainian, Belarusian music, and therefore, for a Russian speaker, it's easy to understand someone who speaks Ukrainian or Belarusian, but I think you need some practice in listening to understand it well. And I had this practice. I also wanted to be able to read Russian literature. Russian literature like Crime and Punishment. What kind of literature are you interested in? I know that Dostoevsky, Tolstoy is popular outside of Russia. Bulgakov is an interesting writer who wrote a lot of fantasy books in Russian. Я думал, что я полный ноль в английском. Оказывается, я что-то понимаю, про что говорится. Да, ну, молодец какой. Немножко понимаешь. Ну, как бы понимать это одно дело. Самое сложное это что-то от себя прям высказать. Составлять предложения полноценные. Привет, Зазам, как твои дела? A big problem I have right now, Russian seems so fast, so it's hard to process it quickly. I think this feeling is the same for a lot of languages. I don't know, like when I learned Chinese, I felt it was so fast. I can't understand a single word. When I was like getting acquired with English language, it was also like so fast. I can't understand what you're saying. Please slow down. And a lot of my friends who are learning English, they also say, "Well, you're speaking so fast. I can't understand what you're telling me. Please slow down. I can't understand. I can't understand you." So yeah, you just need to get used to it somehow. Привет, все хорошо, а ты как? У меня тоже все хорошо. Я вот это, как бы, что я делал сегодня? Я сегодня разные посылочки получал, как бы это, обрабатывал разные модельки разные. Свои, которые я делала. Вот эту модельку немножко делала. Думаю, что здесь за соединение сверху сделать. Я сегодня получила индустриальный фен, строительный фен. Думаю, может быть, феном обдать пластиком. Может быть, он слипнется, если его быстро приложить. Не знаю, посмотрим. Надо поэкспериментировать с этим. So, Stuart, do you have like some Russian writers or Russian novels you're interested in? Cite more recent books. I was thinking there's one I really wanted to read, Туманность Андромеды. Туманность Андромеды. Зизю, привет, как твои дела? Туманность Андромеды. Honestly, I never heard of this book. I'm not a big fan of literature, to be honest. Like, I don't know. It just when I was studying at school, I hated literature for some reason. But of some literature, I really like Harlan Ellison and I like Stephen King. I listen to some audiobooks from King. Like I really liked The Joint from Stephen King, and I liked. I don't know how this this story is called in English, but translating from Russian into English, Harlan Ellison, People for Technical Support or something. And of course, he's. I don't have mouse, and I'm a scream. I also like this story. From Russian literature, what do I like? From Russian literature, I think I liked Bykov. I'm not sure if he's Russian. Actually, maybe he's Belarusian writer. Sotnikov. Yeah, I think he's Belarusian author. Yes. I liked his novel Sotnikov from Vasil Bykov. It's about the war. It's about two soldiers. The one soldier was loyal to his he was loyal and he was with principles, and the other soldier he betrayed his principles and he joined the Nazis, and then he wanted to hang himself in a toilet. It was just a novel that was given to us in Lyceum to read, and I liked it. Also one novel I really want to read, but I don't have time for it, is Zamyatin. The novel is called We, or Мы in Russian. The novel We from Zamyatin is a novel that inspired George Orwell to write 1984 afterwards. So yeah, it's also some dystopian future, some fantasy writing. Очень хорошо, очень хорошо. Я очень рада за тебя, Зюзя. Чем ты занимаешься? Давай, сделай бизнес. Just about space age stuff, and there was a lot of hope about it. I know there's a Russian philosopher, I think Fyodorov. Yeah, Fyodorov. Nikolai Fyodorov was a philosopher of 19th century, and he spoke a lot about space, of how human race must achieve immortality. Humans must resurrect their ancestors, and then we must colonize all the stars in the universe. I know, it's just so crazy for 19th century thinking. For English, Orson Scott Card is really good. I loved Ender's Game. I've heard about Ender's Game, but I haven't read it. Yeah, as I said, I'm not a big fan of literature, but I heard about Ender's Gate. I have some novel books at my house that I bought personally. I wanted to read them, but I don't know. I'm just too lazy to do so. Just too lazy. Maybe I'm too busy with other stuff. Usually I like non-fiction history books, but I've been getting more into fictional. I've read about a lot of history articles on the internet. and I also listened to a lot of lectures about history. A lot of those lectures were in Russian. There's one great lecturer in Russian that I enjoyed to listen. Sadly, a lot of his lectures are now privated. He spoke a lot about history of like everything. He spoke about, I don't know, from history of ancient China, and he also like I know spoke about the world of Harry Potter, for example. Like the range of his topics is really wide. He spoke about everything. Что делают люди во вкладке общения, когда ноль зрителей общаются? Учусь, точнее, просто переписываю текст, либо пишу под диктовку. Ничего себе. Ну ты прям профессионал, что ты интересно пишешь. Какие произведения? Как его там зовут? Я опять забыла. Ну того социал-дарвиниста. Прям почему не особо удобно. Блин. Надо переделать. Надо форму горничной. Ой, извините. I love dystopian stuff. I want to like 1984. I like the idea and stuff, but the book is really not engaging and get very bored reading 1984. You can give We from Zamyatin a try. Well, I started reading it, but I just I'm too lazy to finish it. But I think like reviews say that this book is great, and some enjoy it a lot more than 1984, especially because 1984 is overhyped and no one heard about We from Zamyatin. I love stuff from 1890 present. I see. The audiobook is good. I listen to audiobooks while I'm at work. Yeah, I listen to some audiobooks. I also listen to some political audiobooks, like I've listened to, I don't know, some audiobooks from Russian socialists of the beginning of 20th century. At one point of my life, I was interested in this theme. Let's see. I don't have good reading comprehension, so I struggle to actually get information when I read, but when I listen to an audiobook, I comprehend it. Oh, yes. I wonder if there's an audiobook for We Zamyatin. Evgeny Zamyatin. Probably there is. Fahrenheit 451 is a great though. We have studied this book at Lyceum. Fahrenheit 451. I remember the story a little, maybe just the concept. I remember the concept that the main hero was a fireman, I think, in English. And he worked as a person who burned books, I think, if I'm correct. I don't remember much from this book because I know I wasn't enjoying the process of studying literature when I was at Lyceum, so I wasn't really invested into understanding whatever we were reading. I should give this book a second chance, I think, outside of this studying environment. And Americans cannot spell out temperature right. Yeah, and also those Americans, so they have this weird Fahrenheit. I remember that 0 in Celsius is like somewhat around 32 Fahrenheit, I think. But then 1 Celsius is not 33 Fahrenheit, I think, or something. It's a little bit deviated. So it's hard to translate. Oh yes, that's a topic I like. I find the Soviets so fascinating. I acknowledge the best of two. Yeah. Well, in Soviet era, like socialist government of USSR, in revolution years, they were good and they were bad, like in every single thing on the earth. But yeah, you either hate them, you either love them. As for me, I'm mostly, I'm neutral, I think. As I said, at one point of my life, I was really inspired by Trotsky, Lenin, but now I don't know. Like I'm mostly neutral to those figures. I'm really negative about the figure of Stalin because, especially because during the Stalin period, my great grandfather was executed. He was sent to Gulag for counter-revolutionary activities, as it is written in memorial book. But my family says that he was like sent to Gulag because someone found out that he had a Bible, and he was also a priest in a church in my city. So probably, yeah, it could be the reason why he lost the trust of local authorities. So fair, I hated books in school, but I started to appreciate it later. Yeah. I like reading books, but I don't know, just it takes a lot of time, and usually I have more interesting stuff to do. Like, well, for example, today I was, I modeled a little, I just... Yeah, I did some 3D modeling. I did some stuff to make my 3D prints better. So, yeah, and if I read a book, I need to sit down. I have to only read this book, not to do anything else. So, yeah, it's hard to focus. The movie of 1984 is good too, both the modern and the one from the 60s. I watched the modern 1984 movie, I liked it. Yeah. It was a good movie. It was a good movie. I like dystopian stuff. 0 Celsius is 32. Remembered it correctly. Good for me. Fahrenheit goes off 0-100 scale of how hot it feels to humans. Oh. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know, like, because I grew up in space where Celsius is widespread. I don't know, it's a little bit hard to understand Fahrenheit, I think. As for me, like 25 Celsius is cold for me, and 25 Celsius is how much Fahrenheit? It's 77. I don't know. At this point of 77 degrees Fahrenheit, my hands begin to freeze for some reason. I don't know. How much temperature do I have in my house right now? It's 26 Celsius. So it's how much Fahrenheit once again? It's 78.8. And once again, even at this temperature, I don't feel really comfortable. I don't feel really comfortable. Because my hands are a little bit cold. I know I just have bad blood circulation at hands for some reason, maybe. Yeah, I have no appreciation for Stalin. Yeah, and in Russia, for some reason, even people who lost their family members during Stalin period, they are somehow trying to like clean the image of Stalin. They are saying, well, that's not the fault of Stalin, that's the fault of local authorities, for example. Or maybe some even say, well, they deserved it. The people who went to Gulag. I spoke to one person who is a fan of Stalin, and he said, well, probably my great-great-grandfather just deserved it. At first he was denying that people were sent to gulags en masse during Stalin era, and then he just said, well, probably your great-great-grandfather just did something horrible. And he deserved it. I don't know, what else could I say? How can I argue with such a position where this person just doesn't value the life of someone who is seen as counter-revolutionary for some reason? Я, как по мне, лучше помолчать, чтобы не мешать вашему разгораться книгой о писателях, разгораться в книгах о писателях. Да не, расскажи мне тоже что-нибудь по книге. Какая у тебя? У тебя есть книга любимая? Ты вообще читаешь книги? Я когда была в школе, я вообще ненавидел книги. Нахер их читать? 60 is cold for me in Fahrenheit. 60. How much is it in Celsius? 15 Celsius. Well, 15 Celsius is really cold for me. In place where I live, we get minus 37 in winters. Well, minus 37 in Celsius, of course. In Fahrenheit, it's minus 34. But as I said, the part of my body that always feel uncomfortable with low temperature is my hands and also my feet. But my feet usually they are cold, so usually my hands. For some reason I just can't with low temperatures. 15 Celsius is cold for me. I love 18 Celsius though. Recently we went to St. Petersburg with my girlfriend. Well, it was our first meeting in our life, and she was so damn hot in terms of her body temperature. Yeah, and she always the weather was so cold. I felt it was really cold, and she was wearing really light clothes. And she said, "Well, I feel hot. I feel that it's too hot for me." So yeah, it's individual. I don't understand it's better for me to write in English. Да? Ты не понимаешь? I think it's a thing where it was so engraved in them to like Stalin or they get punished that they started actually liking him, similar to Stockholm Syndrome. The deal is the people who defend Stalin, like in most cases, are people who haven't lived through the Stalin era. Like the person I argued about my great-great-grandfather is younger than me even. Yeah, and also we went to Moscow with my mom and we met her uh, colleague from work. Like they used to work together, and he also was speaking in defense of Stalin's government. He said that, oh, he says that Soviet government preserved church. Like, I'm not a religious person. Let's say I'm not a religious person, but I acknowledge the fact that Soviet government persecuted people of religion, and I think they persecuted them in extreme ways. Yeah, they didn't deserve that treatment. Yeah, and that person said that Soviet government preserved churches because they turned churches into hangars, they turned churches into storages, they turned churches into clubs or something. Yeah, and because of that, those churches were preserved. Otherwise, those churches could have been destroyed. What the fuck does this guy even say? What the hell? Like, what? What? So he's saying that because of churches, like, the Soviet government changed the purpose of the churches into like some, I don't know, storages, to some, I don't know, libraries, for example. Like whatever it is not a church. It helped churches. What is this arguing? I don't even understand. I don't understand the logic of this person. Разговор, да блин, разговор, ну почему? Мы же со всеми разговариваем, Китаец пойдет, а по-китайски с ним начну говорить. -34 holy, that is extremely cold. Yeah, but I must say, when we went to St. Petersburg, for example, the temperature is much warmer in St. Petersburg than in my city, but sometimes it feels like much more colder than my city because of strong winds and because of humidity. So maybe -37 in my city can feel warmer sometimes than it actually is. To a human body, at least. We get like -16 Fahrenheit, 3.2 Celsius here, but it gets really hot here. Gets up to 117 Fahrenheit, 47 Celsius. Typically it's 19 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius and some. Oh my god, 47 Celsius. 117 Fahrenheit is a lot. We don't have those kind of temperatures, usually, at least in our city. But yeah, the temperature drop and rise is quite extreme, because in winter we have -34 Fahrenheit, and in summer we get maybe 38, we can get like 100 Fahrenheit. I wanted to say something, but I forgot what I was trying to say. So the winter is cold. Yeah, I wanted to say that I live in Siberia. Yeah, and Siberia is stereotypically viewed as a really cold region. Well, it really is a cold region in winter. In summer, it's hot somewhere. In my city, I think it's quite, well, it's not cold, at least. My city is really sunny. I think my city is considered to be the most, the city with most sunny days in the whole country, maybe like one of the most sunniest cities in the world even. Да, но я понимаю, что ты говорила, куда ты ездила, что ты читал, каких авторов книг тебе нравится, каких стран тебе нравятся авторы книг. Сейчас говорите по температуре, как холодно, как слишком жарко. Честно, я плохо понимаю английский, на уровне новичка что понимаю. Да, давай практикуем английский с тобой. Я тут перевожу Цельсии эти Фаренгейты, ну, для американцев, как бы, да. Говорю, что у меня в городе зимой минус 37 градусов, летом у меня потом, ну, типа тоже там 37, плюс 37 градусов. Вот такое вот различие температур происходит. I live pretty much in the center of the United States. I used to live in California and it was like 85 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius year round. I see. The city I live in is a shithole. Let's say, in terms of temperature, in terms of location of the city, my city is covered by mountain range. So the view from my window is quite beautiful because I see all those mountains everywhere, but because we have those mountains and we have industrial hub in our city, all the smoke from those industrial zones, it goes nowhere, it just stays in the city. So therefore the air quality is not really great in my city. The temperature difference is not really good in my city. Everything delivered to my city takes a really long time. Like, for example, if I want to order something from Russia, like from Moscow, for example, it takes a week to get to my location. If I want to order something from China, it takes 2 weeks. If I want to order something from Europe or America, it takes 1 month. Well, at least it used to have to be 1 month. I haven't ordered anything from America or Europe from a long time ago. I think the last time was in 2019 or 2020. I don't remember exactly, but it was 1 month. So I really want to move somewhere closer to Europe. Just to have better environment, to have better like this logistics, because nowadays we order everything from those marketplaces, and I also decided to work on a marketplace and sell my goods. Yeah. Привет, Шаху, что рассказываешь? Жапан, Токио, затариваемся. Почему это так долго грузится? Они там все скорешились или что? Это реально, это тот самый хентай пакет. Это прям групповуха какая-то, да, у них? Yeah, Exarch is mainly flat farms and cows, but our town has a nice library and it's pretty well connected to interstates, though. In America you have those interstates, in Russia it's like this Trans-Siberian Railroad is the main logistic thing. I think, yeah, like all the goods, all the stuff is delivered by trains on this Trans-Siberian Railroad. Stuff from China takes about a month. Europe can be quicker though, but way more expensive. I see, I see. Nowadays I mostly order things from Russia because it's faster, well it takes a week still. But usually I order stuff from Russia, from inside Russia. Usually, like everything I ordered from China, everything I ordered from Europe, America. Back then I can find inside Russia, like there's a lot of companies that import this stuff in big quantities. So it's better and faster and even cheaper to just order from them. Да, мне нечего сказать. О. У нас в прошлом году было минус 31 градус, те дни школа была закрыта, и был дистант по сферам. Предположение, где начались на два домашнее здание. Ай, как хорошо, что в мое время сферу не существовало, да вообще интернет был хуёво развит. Мне кажется, не у каждого дома вообще компьютер был в мое время. Да и сейчас, на самом деле, как я заметил, не у всех людей компьютер есть, прям полноценный. Зато телефон у всех есть. You drive yourself here everywhere, and goods are semi-trucks. There's like one train system here, but it barely goes anywhere, and it's about like $200-400 to ride it. $200-400, wow. That's a lot of money. To ride a train in Russia, well, it depends on the location you are going to, but for example, to go to Moscow, from my city, I think it costs about $150, but I think no one takes this train. Maybe if you take like big luggage with you, can go by train. Like it takes, I don't know, 5 days probably to go to Moscow. No, I think it's 3 days to go to Moscow from my city by train. But for the same money, you can take a plane ticket to Moscow. Or maybe even cheaper, because government subsidizes Far Eastern region, and sometimes, if you're lucky, you can buy a ticket that is subsidized, and you pay half the price. So a ticket to Moscow from a city is just $80, I think. Well, my city is located near Mongolia. It's bordering Mongolia and China, somewhat. So the distance to Moscow is really like, I think the distance is much greater than like the eastern and western coast of United States. But if I want to go to neighboring like city, like you know, for example, there is a big city in 2,000 kilometers from me, Irkutsk. If I want to go to Irkutsk, the ticket will be, I think, something around maybe $40. Yeah, something around that price. Серум есть на телефоне. Ну да, я вспомнил, что у всех телефоны есть. Я с вот этими телефонами даже немножко как бы отстал я был какое-то время, потому что я до 17-го года я ходила с Nokia кнопочные. Ну и типа я не хотел просто новый телефон, мне реально нравился мой телефон. Я не понимал, зачем мне нужен сенсорный. Теперь вы снова говорите, куда и насколько давнее вы ездили куда-то и что покупали билеты в Китай и Монголию. Не говорю, что я покупал билеты в Китай и Монголию. Я говорю, что мой город граничит с Китаем и Монголией. I really want to travel to Czechia. I was in Czechia when I was 13, I think, something around 13, age of 13. There is a friend of my family living in Czechia. Czechia was really beautiful. We went to Prague, we went to Karlovy Vary, we went to... we also went to Germany as this trip to Dresden. Those cities are beautiful. I really liked it. And when I returned home to my hometown, I was crying. I was crying because it's nowhere near the beauty I saw in Czechia. Вот так, да. Что они здесь еще рассказывают? Пошерстили Акихабару вдоль и поперек. Да они Акихабару, Акихабарку, да вообще. Да-да-да-да-да-да. Ну, то есть они все-таки были там. Но в Акихабаре я думаю, что там все оверпрайснуто жестко. Это же, ну, центр, как бы, туристический район. Поэтому... Думайте. Пацан прилично проголодался. Ха-ха, нифига он кушает. А чё он кушает? Все его поддерживают. Что он делает? Что он себе позволяет? I'm looking at Amtrak, our train system. Amtrak. In Russia, there's only one train system. I know about America. I think in America there's different like train companies. Yeah, there's about 4 paths that go across the United States. Or is there one system like is there one company that operates on American railroads, or there's different companies? Because I heard that in United Kingdom there's different companies that operate the United Kingdom road, and if you want to go somewhere like in a long distance, you have to buy a ticket from one company, then you have to buy a ticket from the second company, so it's a little bit complicated. So there's about 4 paths that go across the United States. Last time I looked at Amtrak, it was a longer distance, but about the same distance from Moscow to St. Petersburg. It's $65 for a coach and $515 for a private room. Well, I went from Moscow to St. Petersburg on a fast train. The ticket was something around that price, I think. $65. But during our last trip, we got late to the train and we had to buy new tickets. And the ticket price was something around $110, I think. Because we had to buy tickets for comfort class, because there were no economy class tickets left. It's only Amtrak. The only different ones are subways. Oh, I see. Trains aren't a big business here, so there is only one company. I see. In Russia, like this Russian railroad company. In Russian is Российские железные дороги, Russian Railways, РЖД. That's the only train company, like train company. I don't think they operate the subways, but like these normal trains. It's nationalized, so it's controlled by government, and it's really rich, as I said, because all the goods in Russia Most of the goods in Russia are delivered by train, I think. Maybe a lot of people also move by train, mostly I think from like small towns to big cities of their region. They use trains to get around. Мне не листается чат. Amtrak is actually government owned. It's like our postal systems, USPS owned. So it's the same for United States. In Russia also, the railroads are controlled by the government. The postal system mostly, like there's Russian Post that is controlled by the government, but there are also private delivery companies, so as in United States as well. Yeah, like those UPX and what else you got? FedEx. Yeah, we also have some private companies that deliver goods. Yeah. У меня сейчас есть Nokia 3310, и мне надо купить для нее аккумулятор, потому что тот старый, с которым мне его дали, умер, поэтому мне надо купить аккумулятор. Если что, я просто хочу поиграть в змейку. Ты просто хочешь поиграть в змейку? Я бы хотела себе починить телефон старый мамин, я не помню уже, LG какой-то. Это LG 90-х годов, наверное, какой-то реально, я не знаю. Я не вспомню модель, я типа искал, я находил, но я уже не помню. 405 рублей стоит аккумулятор. У меня, кстати, Nokia тоже самое лежит, как бы там тоже аккумулятор сдулся, типа тоже в теории, наверное, могу его починить, купив вот такой аккумулятор, но нахуя? Я не знаю, мне не сильно это надо. Поиграть в змейку, а поиграть в змейку, типа, только на телефоне там можно. Ну, типа, окей, как бы. Пропуск на том телефоне LG, я бы хотел поиграть в игру про орла, которой больше нигде нету этой игры, вообще нигде нет. Ни в каком виде, ни в каком формате. Тоже отправлю сообщение, но посмотреть, но уже что нагружаю. О, да давай нагружай меня полностью. Сломай мой хребет. Мне, в принципе, как бы немножко хребет надорвали уже в Петербурге, когда на меня прыгнули. Так что я уже закаленная. Сейчас вот это буду есть. Это что за хуйня? Что это за говно? Что это вообще? Что здесь изображено? Ну, я могу похвастаться тоже. Я сегодня ела листы нори, я сегодня ела чипсы какие-то с нори, я сегодня ела хлеб, такой прям хороший хлеб какой-то китайский, прям такой он воздушный был, максимально масляный какой-то, не знаю. Ноки я сегодня ела. Что я сегодня еще ела? Ну, короче, печенье какое-то ёбнутое, вообще хуйня полная. Ну, китайская тоже. Ну, короче, сегодня в 3 китайских магазинах было. Но потом купил хуйни какой-то. Блять, что с чатом? Ломай меня полностью, да. Я постоянно играю на кнопочных телефонах, потому что я Макс не хочу скачивать. Да. На 3310 Макс не устанавливается почему-то. If I wanted to go from Kansas to Washington DC on Amtrak 1247 miles, 2006 kilometers is about $218 for coach and $1,420 for a private room. It also takes about 38 hours. Yeah, so it's the same distance as from my city to Irkutsk. Yeah, it's much more expensive than our train systems. Yeah, for that price, I don't know, you can. I think you can ride from Vladivostok to Horodno, like from the most eastern city of Russia to the most western city of Belarus, and maybe you will also have some spare money left. Второй похоронный, второй пизда. I just want to show you how long this distance is. Yeah, I think it would be cheaper than the price you named. Yeah, it's 7,300 kilometers. Oh, yeah, this website, it recommends me some tickets. Okay, it's something around $300 to ride this distance by train. But I don't know who will ride this on train. Yeah, $300 to ride on train from Vladivostok to Grodno. Yeah, but I think the plane will be cheaper and faster, as I said. The other public transit is weird though. We have a sort of taxi-like bus system in my town. 21,000 population, you'll have to call the bus to go to your house. Oh. That's interesting. In Russia we have small buses that circle around a certain route. Like a single bus can take for something around 15 passengers. Yeah, like those buses. So they circle around some sort of a marshroute, like some sort of a route, yeah. And if you want to, you can like tell the driver to stop at some point of your ride. So there is some particular bus stops for this kind of bus, but if you want, you can leave at any time during the trip. Чё за хуйня, блядь, со скроллом, блядь, чата? У меня еще чат, он мельче стал из-за хуйни вертикал. Oh, the Kansas to Washington is also only half the US, so you can get across the entire country for the same price as half of our country. Yeah, and even ride to Belarus, as I said. Grodno is in Belarus. You can ride to... You can even override your entire country and go to Belarus. Probably you could have even like go to Lisbon, to Portugal, but I think the trains they don't go to Europe now. And also the Poland-Belarusian border is closed during the military training. They do some military training on the border, like this Belarus and Russia thing. Yeah. Yeah, and probably going to Lisbon will still be not that expensive as traveling across the whole United States. Она пошел дальше на смс-ку ночью. Сладких снов тебе, Гален. Сладких тебе снов. Хороших снов, спайся. In the bigger towns, that's how it works. Oh, I see. My city is 320,000 people. The population of my city. I has to be like over 100,000 population cities to have a bus loop system. I see. Most people drive anyway, so. In Russia, I think also a lot of people drive, but I don't know. I think that owning a car in United States is absolute necessity because of how you like must travel to your house, from your house to a shop, to your job. Like, yeah, in Russia you could have your work, a shop nearby your house, so maybe you don't even need a car for that. Yeah, still, I don't know. Most people in Russia, I think they have cars, but it's not a necessity. Because you can just walk, you can walk out of your house, there is a shop nearby your house, it can be even in your house. It's really convenient. Most people get a car when they turn 16. In Russia, well, I don't know. Maybe the medium age of getting a car is 35. Or something. And also getting your own house, your own apartment in Russia is also hard because it's really expensive. Like the medium salary in my region, in my city, is let's say $700. And renting an apartment in my city is the cheapest option is $500. Buying an apartment, I don't even know, it's it's a lot. People of my age, most people of my age, they can't afford buying their own house or their own apartment. In my city, at least. In my city, the housing costs the same as in Moscow for some reason. It's really expensive. But then also there is, like, in my city, you can rent an apartment for $600 or $500 for months. And there is some cities in Russia where you can buy an apartment for $500. Like you pay $500 and an apartment is yours. It depends on how fucked up the region is. Only about like 40% of our town even have sidewalks. Oh, I see. You don't need the sidewalks. I think, yeah, in America, most towns and cities, they have those zones. Yeah, like commercial zone, like living zone, industrial zone, I guess. Yeah, and you have to drive to those different zones. A long distance. I also don't know if it's common, but you have to sign up for the draft when you get a driver's license. Really? Why? But I know other places have required service, so maybe it's not that bad? In Russia, military service is obligatory for people, but you can get away with it if you're like, I don't know, You can fake an illness, you can go to university, you can find an illness in yourself that will let you free of army. Like, I think that most people in Russia that live in somewhat wealthy households, like they have a toilet in their apartment, I don't know, and not on in their backyard. They most of them they won't go to army. I have a 2-bedroom quadplex I share with a roommate, and it's about $500 per person, including all utility costs. Well, yeah. But then in United States, salary is much larger, is much more bigger than in Russia. Medium. As I said, in my city, well, I was offered a job at my university to teach students, and I was offered $220 per month for the teacher role. Of course, it's not like full stake. It's like I had to work like, I don't know, 3 days per week or something. But well, can you imagine having this salary? $220. Some people in Russia, they have this kind of salary, $220 per month. Yeah, I thought to myself, well, no, I don't want to work for that kind of salary. It's too low for me. Especially thinking of how I make much more money doing less, like working less, doing those Roblox models. My friend from China, he rents an apartment in my city and he pays something around $500 per month. He has 2 apartments in China and he's leasing those apartments for other people, so he is the one who gives the rent to other people, yeah, in China. And he don't have enough money to live in my city. Like he barely scrapes the money to have enough money to like pay rent, to buy some food, and that's it. True, I get 20 per hour, 9 hours per day, and paid bi-weekly, so I get about $700 every other week, but I have a good job position. People struggle to get a job in general because employers will pretend they are hiring and not actually hire them, so they get tax benefits for looking for workers. I see. I have a friend from Kharkiv, from Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. I have 3 friends from Kharkiv actually. Well, one of my friends from Kharkiv, he went to United States and he went to, let me see, I forget what state he went to. It's near New York, somewhere. He went to New Jersey. He went to New Jersey and he worked as a dishwasher, and I think he worked not not very legally, let's say, but he got paid. He got paid $1,500, I think, something around that price per month, and this salary is crazy for Russians, for Ukrainians as well. In Ukrainian, the salary is a little bit less than in Russia. You have to be a really good specialist in Russia or Ukraine to earn that kind of salary. Well, and he was just a dishwasher, illegally. Ben Josie. Yeah, his sister lives in New Jersey. He was also, I think, underage at the time when he went to United States. Like 17 years old or something. So we know each other because of this Roblox group I own. This kind of money is crazy for whoever lives in Russia or Ukraine. In Ukraine, as I said, the salary is even lower than in Russia. Especially in those eastern regions like Kharkiv. I will say if I didn't have a roommate, my place would be 1,000 per month, so his salary would have barely covered it. I see. Well, yeah, the only way to pay for rent in my city, like, also is having a roommate, but I don't think roommate culture is really like widespread in Russia. Mostly maybe because in Russia we mostly have apartments that is like 60 square meters, or how do you pronounce that in American? 2 square feet, I don't know, 645 square foot. So we don't have those 2-story houses or like even 1-story houses. It's mostly apartments in those big buildings. Maybe we just don't have place for roommates, I don't know. But I have never saw a person or heard about a person in Russia who has a roommate. But I proposed such a thing to my friend at one point, actually. But no, it never it was never realized in existence. I live in a rural, so housing is cheaper here. I see. Well, I've also heard that housing in America is cheaper than in Canada, for example. And in some countries of Europe, so I guess that price is considered to be cheap. Only rich people get 2 stories here unless there's a basement, but that's because we get tornadoes here. Ah, I see. Yeah. Everyone outside of America is always wondering why Americans don't build houses that are not that cannot be torn by tornadoes. Because, for example, in Russia, even we have those things called dacha. Those are some land plots that are given to workers during the Soviet era for free, so they could grow their own vegetables, live there, like relax there, take a break, and so on. And on those dachas, people build houses, and usually they build houses of brick, for example, yeah, like some materials that are quite sturdy, let's say. Yeah, and when, for example, my mom can't understand why Americans build houses of cheap materials, of this, I don't know how this material is called, let's say cardboard. And then tornado passes and tears the house. It can be cheaper, but it's harder to get accepted for an apartment. I see, I see. In Russia, it's mostly apartments. It's a rare occasion where you can rent a house. And if you even rent a house, it will be far, far away from civilization. And though for America, it's okay to have a car and ride to like shop, for example, yeah. And for Russia, it's it's not usual. It's not a usual thing to do. People want to be near shops, they want to be near work, they want a place to live that will be near to everything. I built some parts of my parents' house. The houses are quite literature, wood frame, and then drywall on the side, so just air in between. And drywall just like pumice rock in between two pieces of paper, can just kick right through it or fall and break through it. Yeah, and why so? Why don't Americans use bricks, for example? Well, I've read that in California, for example, they have seismic activities and brick houses are not studied because of it. Like the plates, like lithosphere plates, they just move, and the houses are like they have thorns in it or something. A dacha, you heard it right. Yeah, a dacha. We have brick facades. Yeah. But why not build a house out of bricks entirely? The only place that is really bricks and such are like New York. Expensive. I just don't get it quite right, because, well, in Russia people can afford to build a brick house. And in America people can afford a brick house with the salaries that is 4 times like bigger than in Russia. The clay is much more available in Russia, maybe, or what? Okay. Because in Russia, I don't know, people usually they use bricks or maybe wood, like those wood logs to build a house. They rarely build houses of cheap materials. У моей сестры есть такой дом. Да. Вкусные. It's because Americans like the look of American suburbs, so to build it cheaply they use as little material as they can. Okay, I see. I see.
Немного расскажу я вам о сегодняшнем путешествии на работу. Ехал, как и многие из вас, на электричке. В общем-то, ничего необычного.
As for me, I live in a brick house. I live in a brick house, and I think it even have several layers of bricks. But, well, yeah, I live in an apartment, I live in a 5-story house in the center of the city, in a brick building. I remember one American came to our university and we spoke about some things that really surprised him in my city.
того, чтобы нас увидеть.
And he says that one thing that really surprised him in our local culture is that uh, we are mostly naked at our houses, like inside our apartments. Because inside our apartments and houses it's warm, usually because we have central system for like warm our houses up. Yeah, we have like this. We have boilers in our houses. We have this central site that is boiling hot water, and they run this hot water around all the houses in my city. We have those yeah, we have those things in our houses. Radiators, yeah. They are connected to to the central system that warms up the entire city. So it's always warm in our house. And also he says that in America you can somehow regulate the temperature, and we can't regulate the temperature. Yeah, and he said you can regulate the temperature and you can save money on it. We can't. Только где-то от Москвы. Да, ну... Торнадо там не проходит, надеюсь. Some houses now I've seen being built, they are just almost very house-looking big sheet metal boxes. So I see. Americans really like to cut the expenses on their houses. Heating and no cooling? Yes. We don't have cooling system. Well, we have like how this thing is called? We don't have a cooling system in our house. You could buy how do you say? I forgot every single word in English and in Russian. Oh, conditioner. You could buy a conditioner, of course, like an electronic device. We don't have a conditioner in our house, like a conditioner that hangs on the wall, but we have a conditioner that looks like a trash bin. Not this kind of conditioner. But we bought it mostly because we had bad air quality, because of forest fires, and we had to use this conditioner to have clean air in our room. Yeah, cause just like hot water running through them, no? Yeah. The way our heating works is every living space has a heater that we turn on. It's powered by natural gas, so just like a little fire that heats in the air and goes through vents. And cooling is a mini split system using the same vents, so it pumps the hot air outside. Pretty much like the same way a fridge works. We don't have a cooling system. Well, maybe some people have, in our house at least, and I don't think, I don't know anyone who has a cooling system. We only have this heating system that is connected to a central site that heats all the houses in the city. So yeah, and we have a temperature in our house that is quite warm, and we go in our houses. Well, some people just walk around in their underwear, for example. We also have condensed versions of the mini splits where you hang it a half-open window. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. The thing you're talking about. So, is it warm in your house? Like, can you go around in your underwear in your house and not freeze to death during the winter, for example? Once again, during the winter time, we have minus 34 Fahrenheit, so it's much more colder outside, but in our houses it's always warm. The air conditioners are also dehumidifiers the air. Yeah, well, we have the conditioner. We sometimes use it during the summer, but not every family in Russia have a conditioner in their house. I would say most families don't have a conditioner in their house, but everyone has this kind of heater.
Привет, Михалыч. Привет, Семёныч.
Привет, Семёныч.
Да вот, у нас с женой сегодня юбилей свадьбы, и я не успел купить подарок. Не переживай, Михалыч. В магазине сварочного оборудования дядя.
Sometimes it goes out because it relies on a fire starting similar to a gas oven, and if that fails, we have little electric ones we will plug in.
Не беда. Фильтровентиляция, комплектующие к кабелю, разъемы, плазменная
Can I find a kind of conditioner I have in my house?
Чем больше ты ждешь, скорее беги.
Кондиционер.
Цокольный этаж торгового центра Лепси. Спасибо, Семёныч. Вот жена обрадуется.
Yeah, we have something similar to this thing. I think that's the thing you're talking about. We have the same thing in our apartment, but it's really rarely found across Russia. Those kind of conditioners. It's really because it's expensive for a Russian family to own one. But in our case, it was the air quality was really bad, and my mom had asthma, so we had to buy these, and it was also not really expensive at the time, I think. Very rare to see a radiator though, unless it's in a public space. I see. Well, our climates are really different, yeah, as you said. Your winters are not that cold. And you have really hot summers. You couldn't survive without one of these. My grandpa lived in a very rural Idaho. Like 500 people area. And he didn't have cooling, so he used one of those. If you go up north, it gets much colder. I see. So, probably different states, they have their own methods of keeping their living space livable. Since we have really great temperature differences at my city, we have conditioner, we have this heater that is connected to the central city system of heating. I find it really convenient that in Russia, in Europe, the zones are mixed. You don't have this living zone, commercial zone, industrial zone. For example, today I ordered some stuff from a marketplace recently, and it took me 1 minute to get to the point of delivery. We have a lot of points of delivery where they store the goods people have ordered from a marketplace. And it just took me 1 minute to cross the crossroads and get to the point of delivery. I just took my goods I ordered and went home. Really convenient. Or if I want to buy something to eat, I just walk out of my house. I walk 1 minute to the grocery store, I buy something and I go home. It is really only in like below poverties it doesn't have air condition, but they use big white box fans instead. Big white box fans. Oh yeah, I think fans can be found in like in some families in Russia that are medium class, let's say. If a family is really poor, they can't afford even a fan sometimes in Russia. Maybe I can find some really poor area of my house and I'll show you how people live in really poor areas in my city. It's really horrific, let's say. Yeah, so this is some photos of a really poor area of my city. They don't have a centralized sewer system. They don't have their garbage taken. They just throw everything in their how do you say, in their inner park. I forgot the accurate name for that. So they don't have a centralized sewer system. They do their things in a bucket and then they pour that bucket in the center of their inner park. I've seen sort of similar areas in Kali, but not nearly that bad. Yeah, the article, he compares those photos to Ghana. This is not my seat. Yeah, this is my seat. But yeah, this area is really far away from me. Like, I live in the center of the city. The area I live in is not that bad, let's say. But for several years, I've had a really large pile of trash nearby. I live on a street that is second, we have the main street in our city and we have a second street that is a little bit smaller, but on the second great street we had a really large pile of trash that smelled really badly, and this pile of trash was taken out only after this blogger went to my city and said, "What the hell is going on in this city?" Well, these photos and this kind of level of pollution is unique to my city, let's say. It's not like everywhere in Russia is the same. It's really one of the most one of the worst areas, one of the worst polluted cities in entire Russia. Like, yeah, this kind of thing, it's not to be found everywhere in Russia. It's just my city is a complete ass. I live fairly close to the upper class area, so my back window overlooks the natural golf course. Wow. That's really nice. My window has a view to the church, a really large church. Yeah, I think it's considered to be the main church of our city. And also some mountain range. So the lookout of my window is not bad as well. As I say, this area I'm showing you is far away from me. You'll have to write, I don't know. You have to ride to this area. Some time to get there. And also... my city is just one of the worst cities in Russia in terms of how we treat litter. Let's say it's like, I think, Napoli in Italy. Naples. they also have this trash problem is in Naples. In Italy. Yeah, so it's just one city in Italy that is really trashed. So my city is also one of those bad cities that is really trashed. But the area I live in personally is not that bad. It's not the best, of course. Like, well, I went to St. Petersburg, I went to Prague, I went to Sweden, I went to Estonia, Finland, Germany. I've seen good places. I can compare. My area is, well, it's livable. It's not that beautiful as Karlovy Vary in Czechia, but it's okay. It's not as bad as I've shown you. For some reason we have a lot of golf courses in America. A lot of golf courses. I don't think we have a golf course in our city. Golf is not a widespread hobby in Russia, I think. What hobbies do we have in Russia? I think one hobby we have in Russia is playing Counter-Strike. Привет, как ты? Привет, Хентем. Хорошо, у тебя как делишки? Как у тебя делишки? Сейчас это да. 1 minute, please. 1 minute, please. I will return in a minute. As I said, I think the most widespread hobby, like in Russia, if people in Russia are doing sports, it's usually cyber sport. Especially, we have a lot of computer clubs in Russia. It was even much like back in 2010s, the computer clubs were everywhere in Russia, and people, especially students from school, they really love going to computer clubs and just play Counter-Strike with their classmates. Well, and this hobby is still present. It's not that expensive, so Russians can afford this kind of hobby at least. Все в порядке, не считая того, что болит абсолютно все, хотя мы там вроде ничего такого не делали, а чё у тебя все болит? Ты чё, разболелась, а? Golf is a rich people hobby here. Yeah, I understand that golf is... It's a rich people's hobby. I only remember seeing a golf course in Moscow, I think. There's one golf court in Moscow on the west of it. I remember. I do feel though it's always weird seeing other areas as an American, because I start to realize how spoiled we are, even though it feels like stuff it begin take away from us. Yeah. Americans, I think Americans live... Well, Americans are wealthy, let's say. Americans are wealthy. What I don't like about America, and I think Americans don't like that as well, is social turmoil. Like all those politics and stuff. They're really dividing the nation into radicals on both sides. And politicians, they take away a lot of freedoms from American citizens while trying to while using this agenda. Yes, they are taking away liberties from American citizens. I think this is a problem for American society. Well, from my point of view at least. This is the reason why I wouldn't want to live in United States. One of the reasons. Well, in Russia it's even worse, because in Russia we don't have like two parties. In Russia we have Vladimir Putin, and that's it. We have Vladimir Putin. He's taking away all the liberties we have. We don't have a problem of country split into two. We just everyone is in the same basket, and everyone's freedoms are being restricted in much more extreme manner compared to America. Чего рассказываешь? И спорта футбол тоже, тот по сути не затратный, хоккей. Ну, Counter-Strike самый жесткий спорт, конечно. I guess maybe it might be different right now, trying not to become a worse country than... Yes. Americans try not to... You Americans just try to... Save your country. Save your country. And we will try to save our own country somehow. I think it's like every single country in the world right now. Every single country in the world face some kind of an issue, some kind of a problem. Some places are better, some places are worse. Russia is really bad, I would say, because our economy is bad, our social development is bad, our rights are bad, our freedom is non-existent. I don't know what is good in Russia. I don't know. The transportation is good in Russia. Well, it's cheap and it's fast. You can go to whatever place in Russia you want to. You can travel across Russia. It's comparably not that expensive. One thing to be proud of. You know more about your country, so we know more about ours, and it leads to the fact we know and maybe feel scones. Don't they call some trains like sausage trains, sausage trains? I have never heard of such thing. Sausage train. My friend from China, when he came to Russia at first, I asked him why he chose Russia to study in, and he said, I like that Russia is more European, I like that Russia is much more free than China, and I like Russian music. Well, and I said him that probably in some near future, Russia will become close to China in terms of freedom restrictions. I would say in some categories, Russia can outperform China in terms of censorship, and maybe overall Russia is even worse now in terms of censorship than China. I would feel myself much more freer in China than in Russia. I remember visiting China in 2019. Yeah, comparing to whatever we have in Russia now, I think China is much more freer in terms of free speech and access to information. I read it in a book one time because they would transport groceries from Moscow, so it would smell like sausages. Also, maybe it's a thing of that, like, the older generations are familiar with, but I haven't. I don't remember those times when we had deficit in Russia and people were crazy about the smell of sausages. I wasn't born at that time. Russian music is banging though. Yeah. Russian music is great. My Chinese friend, he's a big fan of Victor Tsoi and the group Kino, for example. Yeah, listening to different kind of music. Yeah, I would say Russian music, Russian rock. I love Russian rock. It's actually good. It's actually great, and also a lot of Russian songs are really touchy and they express some feelings really great, maybe because Russia has a really tragic The life is in Russia is really tragic. It's really depressive. A lot of people in Russia are really depressive. And maybe it is reflected in the songs. It was referenced in the 60s, so it probably changed. Yeah, probably, yeah. In Soviet era and in 90s, people in Russia, they could be crazy about sausages. Yeah, oh. The train is coming and smell sausages and everyone will rush to the stores and make a line to buy some sausages. No, it's not like that in Russia. Nowadays, in Russia, we are not experiencing hunger. In terms of food, I think, in terms of groceries, Russia don't have issues as well. Yeah, that's one. And another thing that Russia don't have problem with is food. But once again, 20th century was catastrophic in terms of groceries, in terms of supplies. Because yeah, I remember my great-grandmother told us about the 30s, and in the 30s we had hunger, mass famine even in Siberia. I like По матери, Папин Олимпос, Кис-Кис, and По-Шамоле. Oh. Well, I'm not really into like... of course I love music, but I don't listen to new music a lot, I don't know. So I'm not really familiar with all the Russian groups and all the any like different groups. So I'm not really familiar with stuff, with music stuff that everyone is familiar with. So probably any other Russian will say, oh yeah, I know all those groups. But as for me, I only know Poshwa Molly and I don't know songs they sing. Well, I've heard some songs of Poshwa Molly, but I don't remember them. But it's just me because as I said, I'm not... well, I usually just listen to music that I'm used to. For example, I personally like the group DDT. Yeah, and I just listen to DDT music, for example. I listen to Kino music. And I don't own like a Spotify account. Yeah, like I don't have a playlist of different albums I like. Yeah, so it's just me, I'm not really experienced at music. Let's say. У нас поливает говно таких деятелей, зато больше продвигают тоталитарные идеи. Так как они обычно не понимают даже, зачем им это. В более продвинутых технологий они попадают состоятельным и несостоятельным в этом плане людям, однако. Я не поняла про кого-то. Чего? У нас поливают говно таких деятелей, зато больше продвигают тоталитарные идеи. Это про кого речь? Кого поливают? В более продвинутых в плане технологий они попадают состоятельным и несостоятельным? Какие технологии ты имеешь в виду? Бесконтактная оплата? А цензура была примерно такая же в прошлом в России, и ничего наша власть не научилась с того времени. Цензура намного хуже стала в России. Типа сейчас в России буквально нельзя в поиск вбить даже, я не знаю, песня этого, блять, кого... Муцураева, блять, я не знаю. То есть ты вобьешь в поисковик песни Муцураева, все, то есть ты нарушишь уголовный кодекс России. Ну, типа в 2010-х годах, в начале 2010-х годов вообще, ну, типа в интернете можно все что угодно было делать в России. Я не знаю, можно было все, ну, типа, я не знаю, сказать, депутаты уёбки ебаные, не знаю, и типа, а сейчас это, типа, это нарушение закона. Или, например, я не знаю, ну, не было как бы особо, ну, типа, вот, я не знаю, экстремистские материалы, я не знаю, они существовали, то есть существовала статья за экстремизм, но экстремизм подразумевал участие прям реально в террористических организациях каких-то, прям исламских, там, вот этих кавказских организациях террористических, например. Исламистских, извиняюсь. Сейчас экстремизм, блядь, это у тебя сережка радужная, в ухе ты экстремист. Или там, ну вот опять же, в поиск бил песню Муцураева, я не знаю. Типа, VPN блокируются. Раньше никакие сайты вообще, я не помню, чтобы в начале десятых какие-то сайты в России заблокированы были. Я даже не вспомню, какие сайты, чтобы заблокированы были в России. Все было доступно. Все доступно было. Куда хочешь заходить, что хочешь пиши. Вообще все можно было делать. Все, что захочешь. Смысл цензуры всегда в России такая была. Not like fully Russian, but I also like Robopop. Robopop. Well, yeah, I have also haven't heard of this group. I have heard that. Well, I have heard of a group called Chalk Eaters that is Russian based and is oriented towards Western audiences. I use YouTube Music because it creates a playlist for me. Oh. I see. I have some playlists with music on YouTube, but it's mostly folk. Yeah, I personally prefer folk music and 90s Russian rock music, maybe. Well, just 90s rock and maybe also. Yeah, those are my prime interest in music. Которая подвигает по идеям такая же. Ну, в 90-х, типа, вообще цензуры не было, если чё. Цензура появилась как бы в 2000-х с приходом Путина, когда НТВ там начали, вот прикрыли НТВ, когда, да, рейд на НТВ. Какая цензура? Ты в нулевых видел, как бы, вообще телевидение в России, например, не знаю, вообще там все что угодно. Порно даже показывали по телевизору в России, типа вообще все что угодно. И сатиристические передачи были, политические, где критиковалась власть напрямую. Вот Куку, например, я не знаю. Все поменялось за 20 лет даже, если взять отрезок. Robopop is like club idiom. She's Russian and occasionally speaks Russian in the songs. I do like 80s Russian music too. I think I know Miatris. Miatris is a Russian performer who is also doing idiom music. Не, немного про еще раньше время. Интернет просто депутатами не замечалось. Какое еще раньше время? И все контролировалось образованными и заинтересованными. Куда раньше еще? В 90-х не было цензуры вообще. В 90-х, типа, интернет появился в России. Куда раньше? В советское время ты имеешь в виду? В советское время в интернете ничего не контролировалось, или что? Нет, хорошо. В 90-х цензуры не было в газетах, не было цензуры вообще нельзя. Ну, даже взять 10-е года, была новая газета, например, например, новая газета, которая критиковала власть, например, которая была оппозиционной. А куда? Я говорю по 90-е, говорю, что в 90-х вообще не было цензуры, ты говоришь, еще раньше в интернете не было цензуры. Ой, наоборот, то есть... ну не было цензуры, потому что депутаты не видели. And folk, I think that some of the wartime songs are really good, like Soviet Afghan music is really good. Soviet Afghan music. Yeah, I remember some Soviet Afghan song. I don't remember the it goes like "Сперва из бура он стрелял", something like that. I don't remember exactly the lyrics and the music of the tune of the song. How's it go? Сперва из бура он стрелял. So, okay. I think it's called Душман. Сперва из бура он стрелял, он испытания проходил, и автомат учен искал, говор, при всех ему вручил. I haven't heard a lot of Soviet Afghan songs. I've heard a lot of maybe Second World War songs, Soviet era, like если завтра война, если завтра в поход, если темная сила нагрянет, как один человек весь советский народ за свободную родину станет. На земле, в небесах и на воле наш напев и могуч, и суров. Если завтра война, если завтра в поход, то сегодня к походу готов. Yeah, so mostly I mostly know World War II era songs from Soviet era, Afghani songs. Maybe I'll remember them if I hear the name. I know Dushman. I just remember there was some guy, he joined my Discord server, and he told me, can someone, he wrote in the chat, can someone please translate this song into English? Yeah, and I went to this video and I left a comment translating the lyrics into English. Привет, лагер. I know Dushman. Yeah, Dushman, I think. It's popular since I know the song. What other songs are very good too. Well, out of the Soviet Afghan ones, I like Мы уходим. Мы уходим. Мы уходим. Let me hear it. Группа Каскад. Каскад. Oh, so it's the same group that sings Dushman, I think.
С покоренных однажды небесных вершин по ступеням обугленным на землю сходим под прицельные залпы наветов.
I don't think I've heard this song. You see, in Russia, I think we don't remember the Afghan war a lot. Like, Afghan war was a failure for Russia, and probably Russian government doesn't want to remember it a lot. And because of it, we don't hear those songs often. You have to be really invested into like Afghan war and research the material to hear all the songs. Yeah, this Dushman song I only heard because this guy went to my Discord server and told everyone, can someone please translate this song into English? На Руси была такая же цензура бестолковая, строгая. На Руси. На Руси при каком царе? На Руси вообще как бы, ну, в какие-то времена вообще контроля не было почти за людьми. Ну, типа вот, например, я не знаю... Ну, в сравнении с Европой, например, в России средневековой достаточно терпимо относились, например, к мужеложеству, не знаю. Типа, ну, касаемо там про царя что-нибудь сказать, ну, типа, ну, везде такое было, наверное, я не знаю. То есть это не то, чтобы Россия в этом плане уникальна была. Везде, типа, было хуёво. Ну, авторитарные, вот эти монархические режимы. Это не какая-то культурная особенность России, что в России была жесткая цензура на Руси. Привет, Кейси, как дела? Цензура нужна? Нет, цензура не нужна. Империя. Империя, которая... Ну, пример какой ты можешь привести? Цензура. Российская империя. Ну, типа, ну я могу просто привести, что в Нидерландах, например, ну, типа, если что-нибудь ты спизданул бы про короля в 19 столетии, тебя бы нахуй, не знаю, четвертовали бы, наверное. В России, как бы, ну... В России, в принципе, смертная казнь не особо часто применялась. Например. Насколько я знаю. Ну, в Российской империи конкретно. При Алексее, при царе Алексее смертная казнь активно применялась прям часто. При Российской империи, ну, как бы да, но не сказал бы, что... Ну, типа, в сравнении с тем, что в Европе было в то же время, не беря в расчет революционную Францию какую-нибудь, конечно. Ну, типа там... Ну, Французская республика, Французская империя Наполеона, которая более продвинута была, чем вообще весь мир. В плане социального развития. Да, не первый вообще там, не знаю, ну... Придумали конституцию, там, да, название для улиц. Same thing, we aren't taught about our Afghan or Iraq wars here, they also teach Vietnam as if we won, and not that neither side won and it was pointless. I see. I see, so it's the same, it's the same. They don't want people to think about the failures, they only want people to think about the good things. And it kinda grows some toxic nationalism in people, I think. Well, I just sometimes observe it, and I was like that at one point in my life, I think. Because we always hear, we are the best nation, we are God chosen, we have made a lot of things, we won every war. Yeah, basically in school, in Russia, we are taught Russia have won every war, Russia have never started any war. Yeah, like... What? First of all, Russia have started war with Sweden, for example. If we don't talk about 21st century, Russia have started war with Sweden during the Peter the Great, and Russia have lost the war with Turkey. In school, we have won every war. We have never lost any war. Yeah, and people, because of this knowledge, yeah, and they are told like America. I don't know, America, for example, they always wanted to destroy Russia, or I don't know, yeah, and because of that, people view Russia as like, I don't know, gold chosen state, and Russians are gold chosen people, and like every other nation is nowhere near Russia. Yeah, I think it's the same for America. America, in views of some Americans, is used as a gold chosen nation. But America at least is the most powerful nation and the most economically powerful nation, yeah. Like, even like speaking the facts, but it should not diminish the culture and the achievements of other nations. При Петре Первом цензура жесткая была. А Петр Первый, между прочим, как бы он кто? Это царь, который принял западные ценности, как бы он понес как бы наибольшее влияние Европы в Россию. Он принял европейский свод законов, как бы. Он принял вот эти вот, как это называется, ну, устав для армии по европейскому стандарту, например. То есть это импортировано все было, вот эта вся цензура. При Петре Первом, который, да, он действительно был, вот, при Петре Первом началась наибольшая такая, как бы, ну, вот, он заложил дорогу для дальнейшей цензуры, для дальнейшего, как бы, вот это, не знаю, более жесткого контроля, что ли, какого-то над населением. При нем, в том числе, впервые, вот я просто про мужеложество мне эта тема интересовала, интересно почему, да? При нем первый был закон принят о криминализации мужеложества. Ну, то есть гей-секса, да, иными словами. Ну, при нем это только в армии запретили. Гей-секс. До этого не было, например, как бы это криминализировано в России. Чё так поздно Пушкин? А чё так рано? При Петр Первый, в принципе, любил западное, да. Ну, как бы я говорю, все, что делал Петр Первый, это все как бы вот импортировано было западных моделей, в частности, с Нидерланд, которые были одни из самых вот таких жестких прям, ну, по цензуре, по контролю, по законам в Европе стран, наверное, в то время. Казак FM кайф. Казак FM кайфанул. They don't even talk about Korea. Also, acknowledge that we lost, but say it like in passing, almost like, so we did this, we lost, but we also did this and this. The only time I remember them teaching something we did completely wrong was when we did McCarthy, anti-communist race, and when we put Japanese American people in camps during World War II. I don't remember that we've been told that Russia did something wrong. Maybe in Lyceum, like, it's really dependent on the teacher, but in official, like, studying program of Russia, nothing is said wrong about Russia. Especially, they recently passed a new official textbook that should be taught everywhere in Russia. Previously, we had different historical books. Some of them were even written with the help of American funding, and they taught about like some bad things. For example, yeah, well, because it was funded by America, and America, they wanted this textbook to say like the democracy is great and totalitarian regimes are bad, so Soviet era was not that great. Yeah, the new textbook that is taught in Russia is like, yeah, Russia is great, Russia did nothing ever wrong, and that's it. Disappearance from a lesson. Oh, okay. Good luck with the Russian lesson, baby Stewart. I had some teachers who spoke about bad things Russia did. For example, at university, I had a teacher who says that Russia slaughtered Chinese people. That Russia, well, I don't know. Well, Russia lost this Turkish war, for example. Yes, so it's also dependent on the teacher, but in official handwriting there's nothing close to that information. How do you feel about saying gay sex without the context? Gay sex. Дальше просто было по-другому, после смерти реформы были. Ну да, к лучшему или к худшему, как бы, не знаю. РБ добавишь? РБ добавлю, не знаю. Может быть, да, может быть. Если я, как бы, ну, как бы, увижу заявку, то, например, друзья. Ну, да, было бы неплохо. Я тебя могу найти. Ну, попробуй найти меня в Роблоксе. Это очень сложно, на самом деле. Это прям целый квест требуется пройти. Мой ник в Роблоксе такой же, как мой ник на Твиче. Елка Джесс. Что за уведомления мне тут приходят? А я еще не посмотрел, что мне Шехлопу написал, да, в Телеграм до конца. Я только вот эту хуйню посмотрел. Попробую. Сот. Это сот? Что это за ерунда? Спорь анатомия, когда мне лень, versus когда мне не лень. Ну это прям меди какой-то расчленял. Кто Метро 2 не играл, тот в японском метро не разберется. Я много слышу о том, как у туристов ломается внутреннюха, и они навсегда теряются в токийском метро. Но на самом деле не такое оно и сложное. Кроме цвета ветки номера станции, тебе ничего знать не надо. Появляется маркер на карте, по нему идешь. Если делать пересадки, то да, сталкиваешься с новыми туннелями в кафеле, которые вечно переплетаются и направляют тебя во все стороны. Но навигировать по указателям все равно не сложно. На самом деле неожиданно, что токийский метро почти не эскалаторов или не оставлено как-то рандомно, потом ножком топ пару километров полетел за день 3-4 полета пошел, половину из них метро собрал. Точно говорю так, что с чемоданом метро как будто сложно лень, если ты из метро наружу, там всегда очередь с бабулями. Ботанский это вот. Ага, ну бля. Ну это разбираться надо. Ап, блять, я думал, даун. Там оказывается ап. Типа как можно, типа, ну реально кто-то может не понять, что это лестница вверх? Ты ангелочек с демоническими крыльями? Тип того. 21 тысяча. Ух, нихуя себе, нормально шагал. Это что за концерт? Наверное. Это что за гоблин? Там будто бы Дмитрий Пучков был на фото, я не знаю. Это чел регги какой-то исполняет. Что происходит? Ой. Сейчас ты наткнулся на то же самое же концепцию файл менеджера. Еще не подумал, зачем мне очень надо такое? Скорее бы релиз или исходники. Файловый менеджер. Ну, сделай. Любопытный мул проект. Изящный наши способ, как по размытию фона на фото определять телефон, с которого оно было сделано. В их находке каждый телефон немного свой паттерн размытия фона на фотографию. Пока что такая моя модель для определения телефона, что я только каждую сессию, но теперь уже взять два фото по для... Ну, окей. Ну, чего? Или шортс? Что такое шортс? Ладно. Смертный приговор. Ваша смерть 20 октября будет. Ваша семья и друзья тоже, возможно, под риском. О, изи, вин. Шансы в ютубе мои. А я думаю, мои. Мяу-мяу-мяу-мяу-мяу. Гав-гав.
Правда, я просто хотел поесть чуть-чуть.
Это хуйня какая-то. Я пробую эту хуйню.
Оно не взорвалось. Оно не...
Говно это какое-то. Не надо. Не надо мне такое. Позвони маме. Хорошо. Это фестиваль, короче, какой-то, да, известный в Америке. Который не помню, как называется. А может быть... Burning Man это фестиваль, да. Более абсурдные посты набирают больше реакций пьяного леса, чем абсурднее, тем лучше, а лучше, потому что смешнее. О, какие они умные. Вот это да, это их местная валюта. Ага, Burning Man. Я не знаю, что там делать. Там, наверное, двери жгут, блядь. Мои, нет твои. Шортс. Твои. Зайди ко мне на канал. Ну хорошо. Давай зайду к тебе на канал и закончу все. Вот сюда зайти, да? Не понимаю. Как сегодня начинаю, завтра произошлось? Ну, не знаю. Что лучше? Ты отвечала, это я смотрела. Это я не умею решать. Там ты стану трек с необычными большими краями для пасты. Да я не знаю, долго бы.
Вот вы все тут кидаете свои спойлеры к Докторон 3 и 4, что там телевизор ожил, Порис пришла, еще как...
Не надо спойлеры кидать. Я имел в виду YouTube. А, я имел в виду Instagram. Стой, что такое? Короче, я не знаю, через 2 минуты я заканчиваю все. Для нуха мне ноутбук. Чтоб ноутбучить, там есть секс. Не стоит. Ого. Ну, в общем, да, достаточно занимательная информация. И занимательный гейзак. Я буду заканчивать сегодня, потому что ты не смотришь видео из моего канала. В смысле? Всем спасибо, что пришли. Всем сладких снов, хорошей ночи. Всем пока. Я вас поддерживаю во всем. Но не во всем.